Hey y'all, welcome back to Made It Out. Today's episode is kind of wacky, so fun. We talk about community building, we talk about the why in friendships, and we teach you how to play our favorite game, Titty Roulette. It's with the founder of a lesbian social golf club, Hilary Lassoff, and you're gonna love it. Thank you for being here.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
Of course. I know you just from being a lesbian. But
It's the only thing that binds us these days.
it's our why.
Totally.
But you recently formed something called the Bunker Club, and we started going to events, and we absolutely love the events. It's like crazy. We've gotten to drive cool cars, and we played poker on rooftops. It's so fun. So I want to hear more about Bunker Club, why you started it. Let's start there.
I played collegiate golf, I think, as you know, when we debriefed on this. And, you know, for years I worked in the ad space and in tech. And, you know, you have the community and then you have your friends. But there's always this thing, even when when you're in college, you play sports, that's your group, that's your community. And I think kind of when I was getting to the tail end of my ad sales career, I was kind of I really just want to create a physical space. And this is not novel. I feel like we've all thought of this. If we could have this restaurant, if we could have this bar, this place we could all go. And I was I started to come back into golf and I started to play it much more often. And I was wait, this is the funnest thing. Whenever I go out with the girls, we all just have the best time. And I'm wait. It dawned on me, I'm golf is this access point for us. Golf is this part of building community. And I think the puzzle pieces just started to click of, wait, why can't we build a space that's just for us and where we can go and hang out? And it started obviously as that baseline concept. And now it's kind of this, it's formed into this really beautiful community of people, bringing all these different groups together. And we were saying earlier, it's not about kind of going to this party or getting drunk. It's really, how can we have these shared experiences together in community through golf and then also off the golf course as well?
I feel at the age we're at, I was listening to something recently that was friendships have a why. So like you were saying, when you were in college, you had your college friends, or when you're at work, you have your work friends, and the why is what kind of bounds the friendship or keeps it together. And then when the friendship loses the why, it's really hard to kind of keep that going. And I feel at the age we're at right now, it's such a time of change that I feel I'm moving into a different part of my life. The things that matter to me are very different than they did when I was in my 20s. And I'm in a relationship now, and I'm building in my relationship, and we're building a business and all. So going out and partying and that type of thing, it just doesn't matter to me anymore. But half of our group of friends, that really matters still. So it's hard to find a balance, and it's hard to find things that both of those sides can come together and do and still have a why. You know, so it's an interesting time for friendship. And I feel something like this gives a why and is oh, well, we're all going to be at the Bunker Club thing. And then it's a reason to connect outside of let's go to the bar and have a drink.
Totally. No, I love that so much. I love that. It's an interesting when you bring all these different groups of people together, your crew, this crew, that crew, everybody starts, I think, almost to unravel a little bit out of themselves and out of that party routine, you're saying. And they're in a new space with new people. You have to put yourself out there. And yeah, you have your people that you've come with. I think that's been kind of a little bit of the unlock. Even this past weekend, we did a really fun golf trip in Ojai. We did this whole retreat. It was beautiful. We did golf instruction and wellness, and we did performance coaching, and a psychologist came, a good friend of mine, Fiona Murden. And we just had these really beautiful experiences together, and the bonding that happened. And these girls were strangers, and they stayed in a house all together, shared rooms actually, up in Ojai. And it was just seeing that and watching that it just brought me so much joy. I was this is it. like bringing different types of people together. I think that's what shakes it up.
Yeah, that's interesting because Matilda always talks about how like when we'll try to plan a trip or a dinner or what have you, she'll be like, we should invite new people.
Does she ever throw my name out? So rude. I am texting you nonstop about this. Whenever I see you guys go somewhere on Instagram, I'm totally going to be like, I didn't get that invite.
Hello.
Yeah. I want to go to like the really good ones though. So I'm not
Okay,
gonna I'm not gonna be petty over like the mediocre stuff.
Okay.
But the really good trips, you're getting a call from me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fair.
Yeah.
But she always is like, because then people are like more likely to talk to, like, ask questions.
Yeah.
And like we recently went on a trip to Joshua Tree and we had 2 couples come that aren't necessarily like, they're not people who we invite to everything. And the whole weekend we had such deep talks because it was like a group that isn't together. So we were asking, oh, where did you come from? And you know, all of this. And then it forced these deep conversations that we probably wouldn't have had with our tighter group because we're like, oh, bitch, I already know you.
Totally.
You know?
I love that. Yeah.
So it was so great. And I do feel like just adding new people into the mix kind of creates a whole new friendship dynamic.
For sure. For sure. I love that so much. Yeah.
And I think like activities are so important because like that weekend I brought this felting kit. It was like a craft. And then we all like bonded over this craft. And it's kind of like with golf, it's like, okay, we're all just rallying. We're trying new things. And that's a bonding experience in itself.
Yeah, 100%. And golf is so fun. It's like, golf is like the sport where, as we know, you can go out and just like have a glass of wine, have a beer, smoke a cigar. You're sitting in the cart.
Yeah,
you're in nature. You're in some of the most beautiful places. Yeah, it's a really cool, interesting thing, I think, if you go deep in the rabbit hole about it, which obviously I do because I'm weird.
When you first moved to LA, how did you start to create a community to even be able to do what you're doing now?
It was hard at first. And I feel like when I first moved here, the people I worked with were my crew. A lot of them were like, you know, like just a mix of, it wasn't like a lesbian crew at all. It definitely took like, actually up until meeting our friends, Bridge and Jordan, who I think they've always, which they still do, bless our angels. They've always, and they do a great job. They want to bring people together, and they've brought all these different groups of people together, and just like you guys, really. So it really wasn't until meeting Bridget, who I actually met through a coworker. He set us up on like a double date with the girlfriend I had at the time. Bridget and Jordan had just started dating. And then our coworker, Rob, who we're still friends with to this day, we thought he was just setting us up to go to dinner. He comes to the dinner. Aww. He's at the head of the table. He hangs out with us all night. Aww. And it was just really cute. And I think it's that same thing of like, oh, I have a lesbian friend. I have a lesbian friend. I think you guys, it's kind of like even like, oh, I have a lesbian daughter. You have a lesbian daughter.
Yeah.
We're like, okay, that's fine if that's the criteria to start. Yeah. But, you know, I think we move away from that soon. But yeah, so I think it definitely took time. I was probably 4 or 5 years in living in LA that I found Bridget and Jordan. We just started to all kind of be communal and forge these friendships. But yeah, it took a while. And I think to your point, like having a space to actually go would have been awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I feel like, well, we haven't had lesbian bars for... I mean, it's kind of crazy. Like when you tell people this, I think people think that if you come to LA, there's going to be like, they think of WeHo.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, obviously there's gay bars, but it's gay men. And people don't realize that.
No.
Like, obviously we go to those places because it's all we have.
It's all we've had. Yeah.
But it's gay men. And you walk in and then there's like a corner of lesbians that all know each other. Like,
and just your friends, really... you're like, yeah, we're going to meet up at this bar.
Exactly.
And then, oh, it's funny you say that too, because it's like when we used to go out in WeHo, you would try to like, I remember being so hopeful, so angelic and so naive of like, when we go to the bar, which we've all experienced, we're going to meet hot chicks today. Yeah. And I say that with love. Hot chick meaning a good person.
Yeah.
Someone that like obviously is attractive and cute. Yeah. But like you vibe with. Substance. Really. Emma's laughing at me. Substance. They can be hot and have substance. Yes. Obviously.
Hey,
I'm sitting with them. Okay? I'm sitting with them. Yeah. So, and you would always be so hopeful. But to your point, you would walk in and you would just, and then you start, guys, this is not from my own experience, but It is. Like you would go in and you would look at all the, go-go dancers and that would be like your only like female outlet, the whole thing. So it's not like a conspiracy that 30 lesbians in droves would be like up with, handing dollar bills to like the one go-go dancer in Wheel. Yeah. And they would follow her around to all the bars. Remember Flaming Saddles?
I never got to go.
R.I.P.
And it's closed down now.
It's closed down now.
Yeah.
That was the best.
And that's another thing. Okay, so then
you would get your phone stolen, but it was worth it. I would go every year for my birthday. Yeah.
Like, Abby, you get drugged, but
but it was a great night. Hopefully you are going home with that hot substance. Go-go dancer with lots of substance. Yeah. Yeah.
But then, okay, we finally get a couple of lesbian bars in LA and they're great. I feel like they're moving in the right direction because here's the thing, like lesbians don't really vibe at gay bars.
No.
Why do you think that is?
It's a good question. I have not personally been vibing with men in general. So I think as
That's
we
fair.
all, there's a weird switch that's flipped, I think, for a lot of us. And for me, like just being in a space of women, you don't have to be a queer woman even, but just being in a space with women feels so good that it's safe. If the world began again with only women, we know kind of, I think, how that would turn out.
Yeah. Yes. Just watch Barbie.
Yes.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it is like, I never enjoyed going out or partying or really any of that when I was younger. And then when I came into this group and it's literally the parties are all women and like maybe 2 gay men, it is such a different feel and I enjoy it and I love it and I look forward to it. And there just has not been a space like that for women that is like out in public. I also do think though, like the vibe of a gay bar is very like a certain type of party that it's, to me, feels different than how like a lesbian party
100%
is. Like we play like college drinking games.
Yeah.
And
we show each other our tits at the end of the night. Like
it's
we
really
make
different.
out.
Yeah.
What?
Wait, should
just
I
wanna play
tell the
spin the
audience
bottle.
about titty roulette? Do you know titty roulette?
No, but
Oh my-
if you're allowed to share it, I mean.
Okay, so the very first time I ever went to or on a lesbian trip with Matilda, it was her birthday. We went to Joshua Tree. And it's like all of our very close friends. And they're like, Mal, we're going to go play titty roulette. And I'm like, what is titty roulette? And we all get into the hot tub. And we all take our tops off. And then one person stands in the middle and closes their eyes. And then they spin and everybody else spins around in a circle until somebody says, stop. And then the person has to reach out, grab the titties, and guess whose they are.
Matilda, will you come over and show us? Will you come? We need, what's the word? We need a visualization, examples. That is the best game I've ever heard of my parties. Literally, they need to,
I was like,
yeah.
Oh my God, I love being a lesbian.
It is the best. It is the best.
So that's the kind of party that we want to have.
Yes.
Not the Abbey.
Not the, no.
Not go-go dancer vibe. Like,
no,
just
we do go with
different
a nice
vibes.
dinner. We do go with a nice dinner,
This
wine,
too,
and titty
yes.
roulette.
Exactly. This is our kind of party.
Yes.
And I would say that some of the bars were moving in the right direction of that. Like Ruby Fruit in LA. But then they closed down.
Then they closed down recently.
Wait,
down. Also, are they staying? Oh, I saw something. We don't know. TBD.
It sounds like we're closing down. But it's like, then why does that happen? And, okay, so our theory is kind of because
what is your
people like couple up. And then it's like, oh, we don't want to go out. It's like, we're going to stay at home and play.
I have harsher
roulette.
theories.
Okay, what's your theory?
I have harsher theories. Hope maybe this will get cut from the take. It's not a harsher theory. I mean, I think like we're all doing the best that we can. I think obviously as someone who just started a business that I don't know what I'm doing at all, but also things come together as we know. There has to be a certain, I think, aesthetic. I think there has to be a certain understanding of people, what they want, like the gap you're filling. And I think there's just a thread that's missing. Like I think to your point, actually, it's been okay to just kind of, I don't want to say, I'm not saying like Ruby through Fruit is the bare minimum or like bars like that are the bare minimum, but I think it's been okay because they are just the places we gravitate to. I'm like, oh my God. And again, I'm not talking shit on Ruby Fruit. I think it's great. But just that is the example. Like, would I personally go to Ruby Fruit? Let's pretend it was just like, if there were 30 lesbian bars in LA or 10, is Ruby Fruit my aesthetic? Or like the place I would go to like hang out where I'm getting like the community things I need? Maybe not. So I just think we've been okay because it's like what we've been given.
Right.
That's the harsher opinion on it. I just wish there was a space that was a little bit more something.
Matilda and I kind of just as like a fun thing, we're like, let's try to go to all of the lesbian bars
I love that.
the US.
Yeah.
And there's only like 23 or something. There's not that many. So we were like, okay, this is so doable.
People are going to fact check you on that.
32. Okay. And I know that there are places in towns that do not have anything. So we'll take anything we can get. And I'm grateful for what we have. I'm not trying to be a brat, but I think it's just like, come on, like, don't fucking throw the lesbians in the basement.
Yeah, no, I agreed.
It's scary.
I love like a hometown bar. I really do. I went to school in a small town in Florida. Like it was almost like you took a little plucked a Jewish girl out of the East Coast and put her in this rando beach town in Florida. Like, what am I doing there? Glad I went there because that was when I came out and saw all the people on every sports team were gay. It was like the best thing ever. But we had the best time because we would go to these like strip clubs and we would go to these gay bars in town. It was the best fucking time and it was just good people. So yeah, it's just, I think, making sure that there's like those spaces.
But if you don't have it, play titty roulette.
Yeah, if you don't have a play titty roulette, have as many hot tub. I'm talking to the microphone again like I'm a PSA.
If you don't have a hot tub, get in the bathtub.
Get in the bathtub.
There's so many ways to do this.
Have a big tub. You don't
get
have
a blow up pool.
Yes,
and put it in your front yard.
Yes, any pool works.
Any pool, any body of water.
Go in the ocean.
Go in the ocean, lake, river,
all of it.
Anything.
We know you have a body of water close by.
All you need is water and tits. That's all.
Honestly, amen. Amen. Cheers. Stay hydrated. Stay fucking hydrated. This is genuinely why I feel so hellbent on building this space. There needs to be space like this across the country. And to your point, like earlier, it has to have an activity, interweaved. And I think there needs to be like a mission. People aren't wanting to go to a bar and get drunk and like do the thing. They want purpose. They want community. They want to feel passion. And they want to like learn too. I feel like what we were saying earlier, when you get a little bit older, you're kind of set in your way, like you have your things, you have your hobbies. It's so lovely to kind of sit down and like do something new with people. And I think like for me as like someone that, like loves golf and like played collegiate golf and golf has been very much a part of my life, to be able to teach that to people like brings me so much joy that, it's like a two-way street. Like someone else is learning something new and they're having fun and they're like into it, and then like for the other person you're like, oh my God, I'm teaching my friends new stuff, like this is so cool.
Yeah, there's such like a connection and like a bonding, even because right now you're also hosting like community events. It's not only golf. It's,
correct.
You're like, and I'm guessing this is like a way to build up to
exactly.
And so right now the events, like we played poker at one, and a lot of our friends hadn't played poker, and it was like such a funny like bonding moment for all of us that is like, and it's also just like so silly. Like, like
it's so silly.
Here we are like on a rooftop playing poker.
Totally.
And now we all still talk about it. And it's like it's just a bonding thing.
Yeah. I love that. It's for honestly like a catalog because it's just really to throw these events to see the lineup of outfits that are going to come in. I'm like, yeah, like if I was like, Shein or something, I would be like secretly watching these parties, like we're making this, we're making some of that.
It is true. The fashion is
lit.
Yeah,
I love the fashion. For me, like growing up, I think I've been lucky. I think to like golf was almost like this outlet for me. Then when I grew up and was in work settings, I would be able to like go hang with the guys and go play golf with them, and I was kind of always like their ringer and the person. And that's an interesting place to be because you kind of feel like you have to be in the boys club and like you're kind of over here, but then you also really like as a queer woman, we do and can play in that space all the time. And I feel like for me personally, it's been very comfortable to be there. But then to see like wait, I can do this in another way with a group of women and like weave that in. And so it's like, as they say, in the realest sense, this is not like a softball phrase. I think it's real. Like, business deals are done on the golf course. Things get done on the golf course. The boardroom is the access to the golf course. So like, how can we dismantle this kind of like old guard of golf and making this sport more accessible, whether that's obviously getting the community together is like first, and then making the golf course more accessible.
Right.
Like,
because I don't think people realize, who aren't golfers, that even golf courses are very much made for men.
Yeah.
Can you explain
That's
some
exactly
of the ways that that's true?
That's exactly right. Like, when you ever like want to golf, like, would you play from like the forward tees? Do you remember, like,
You know what is so crazy?
Yeah.
I have never played a round of golf.
I'm juiced.
I have worked on the golf course. I've gone to Top Golf my whole life. My dad is a golfer. My brother's a golfer. They're quite good. And what's so crazy is I used to work in corporate too. And I literally would tell my dad, like, I should learn how to golf, because then same thing, like that would close deals. And I asked him to take me to play golf. I have to preface this with, my dad is the best guy. He's so supportive. He literally makes the merch for the podcast. He's so in touch with his femininity. Like, he is a great guy. But he said to me, I will not take you on a golf course. And I think at the time I was just like, I didn't even really register it. But like, now I'm like, and I even said that knowing that we were going to Bunker Club, and I was like, Dad, did you know that you said that to me? And he was shocked. He was like, I can't believe I said that. But I think it is just this thing of like, you don't know what you're doing. That's not your place. That's not your space. And I don't think he really believes that, but I think it's so just like built deep into the culture and into the sport that was just his like trigger response. And I find that so interesting.
Yeah, that's so interesting. And I think, and when you were saying too, like, you potentially like wanted to golf. You would have been good.
Yeah.
Like, and that's actually your story is so many stories, like, genuinely, that when people come and play golf with us, that's the story. Like, they grew up, their dad or their grandpa, they wanted to play, but then and maybe even like the dad, and we love your dad. Let's even say the dad like did support them in going. They still, once they got there, felt like they were just kind of like this castaway out of place. It's taken new shape and new form. Like, even like Tiger Woods, and have you heard of this? Like, Tiger and Rory started like a new golf league in Orlando. They built this massive space in Orlando. And it's actually indoor professional golf. They have teams from different cities. We have a team in LA called LAGC. Like, it's cool. And you know, when you see it though, you're kind of like, this is still like the bros of bros. And so, but I think to the point of that the sport is moving in the right direction. They are trying to find like new and fun ways to like shorten golf, or maybe make golf like a 9-hole experience, or make golf more of like a holistic, like, retreat, or have more of these like kind of indoor leagues or hit off simulators where you can finish 18 holes in like an hour and a half.
Yeah.
So they are trying to make it better, but women are still so far down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even speaking to the aesthetics, I know that like women's golf clothes are not prioritized at all. And that's something that you were in too.
Yeah. Yeah, when I was in college, I literally remember like walking into Dick's Sporting Goods at the time. Shout out Dick's.
Shout out Dick's.
Freaking Dick's. And you would walk.
The only Dick we love.
The only Dick that I would ever speak about on this podcast. So you walk into Dick's, and like literally at the time too, and not this, like, whatever, 15 years ago, like it was bad. Now golf is getting much better, and I'm riding for a lot of the brands, but you walk in, you see pink, black, and white, like cut off, weird, whatever. So it's just a queer woman. Like, you are speaking, that is a great point too. Like, you are speaking with golf clothes to a very specific, still old guard perspective in golf. You are still speaking to that male gaze. You are still speaking to that stereotype in the clothes you're making. And so you have these really cool new brands now coming out that are making cool men's streetwear. So for me, like, even back then when I when I started a golf apparel line, I was like, I wish girls could wear like high tops on the golf course with like cool baggy shorts and like a cool t-shirt or hoodie or whatever. And like, okay, now 15 years later, like it's happening and it's going well. But I think there's definitely, in my opinion, a gap still in the market. And I think for queer women, like, I don't want to say we do it better, but we have a different aesthetic and idea. We get to play in different androgynous. We get to kind of blur the lines a lot, I think, with the things we do, the things we're able to say, our careers, and then boil down to just aesthetic wise, like the clothes we get to wear.
Yeah.
So not that I think like golf apparel needs to change on the backs of like queer women, but kind of in a way, because like we have to make it. So I think even with Bunker, like right now it's community events and it's building this brand, but I kind of was like, I need to like make apparel now that is not just merch, it's not just throwing a logo on a hat or like a sweatshirt, whatever. It's actually speaking to like this need where women want to like, I want to wear these slacks and like this t-shirt on the golf course. Like, how do we make it fun and cool?
Yeah.
And I think that too is like the barrier to entry. If you can even make golf shit fun and sexy and cool and like almost like you're just going out as yourself, we've already crossed step one of like getting people on the golf course.
Totally.
So that to me is a huge pillar, I think, of what the next year will bring, of like kind of building out this like apparel line or whatever you want to call it that kind of speaks to this voice. It's not just about like giving people clothes. It's like really driving this force where like, how can we get people to feel more comfortable on a golf course?
God, I love it. For people who maybe they are drawn to golf or maybe they're not, but they're looking for that community building and how to find the why in, you know, friendships. What advice do you have?
That's a great question. Can I spin that real quick for you? I actually would love to know what you think about it. Like, what are you like looking for?
I think that, I don't know, it's a little bit different. Like at my point in my life and like where we are with just friendships in general, I am looking for people that are going to be my community when I move into the next phase of life, meaning like marriage and kids. And I didn't grow up with that. Like I didn't grow up with parents who had a lot of community around them and like who had kids that we could really bond with and play with. And I don't have cousins, anything like that. And so my pursuit of friendship is really future forward. And like, I want really deep connections that will last for, you know, a while, that I can grow a family around, because I think just like the climate that we're entering into and what I grew up in Texas, it's not what I want for my kids, especially kids who, you know, will most likely be queer in some way. Like I want them to grow up with representation and grow up feeling safe. And like, that's something that's okay and normal and beautiful and celebrated. And so I don't know, I really with friendship look for depth and like aligned values and aligned paths. And I think that does go beyond just like a night out at the bar, you know, and like, let's create a space where we can really connect with people and it be more meaningful. So I mean, Matilda and I feel like are really aligned with what you're doing. Like, I feel like we do it in a different way, but I think it's with the same mission of just like, let's get beyond surface and like, let's really bring people together, because I think in the time we're in, it's people really desperately need it.
100%. That's beautiful. I feel similar. Honestly, I have one sister. I come from like a very small family too. That hit home. That's really nice. I think so deep and so much about leaving like this lasting legacy for our kids, for our friends, for the next generation. Like, how can we change this whole thing and just like make it better? So I think in all the goodness that kind of weight brings and what it kind of pushes out in the product it gives, it's awesome. But then also, I think, at least for me, I don't know if you can relate to this too, like it can be a hindrance, because I feel like everything has to be not perfect, but I can take longer to do things, or I think I can overanalyze things because I want to make these spaces so impactful. I want the people that are there at these events, like every detail is thought. I want everything to be like complete and good. And so even like that, the shy person or the person that's coming that doesn't know anyone, or people that come with all their friends, like it's not about the cloud. It's not about the bullshit. Like it's about people feeling like someone's thought of them.
When it all comes down to it, like people do not really care about
They don't give a
details.
shit.
They just want to be in community. And I think it's like, if you're interested in it, I think it's like putting yourself out there is like the hardest and the biggest step. But it will be received because people are so desperate, especially right now, to feel community and feel love and be understood. And so I think it's like sometimes the hardest part is just to say like, okay, I'm going to do this, or okay, I'm going to try this, or, you know, attend something that maybe you're not comfortable with, or host something that you're not very comfortable with. Like the hardest step is just to do it.
So true. I agree. I couldn't agree more. Yeah.
I love this conversation.
I know. Cheers. I love you.
Okay, I have one more question.
Yeah, tell me.
I ask this to everybody.
Okay.
What are you working on in therapy?
Oh, great question. So I like to do a cocktail of therapy meets energy healing meets body work. And so I think what I'm working on is like not judging myself, like the perfectionism thing, like just being me. And like that always shines. But I think like not being my own barrier to things and putting up something or taking down something, just like being vulnerable, connecting with people and being vulnerable, and like not being afraid to like not have it all figured out, and like take advice, lean on friends, share stuff with like the people you love. And like, yeah, I mean, it's a practice. Like
it's presence is what I'm hearing.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that.
Well said.
Thank you for
Can I throw that back at you?
Yeah. I've been very hesitant to start like a medication journey. And it's been weird because I'm not a person like that is against it, that judges it, like nothing. It sounds so crazy, but it was literally because I love to do mushrooms and they bring so much to my life, and SSRIs block the effects of mushrooms. So
no, that would be my biggest fear.
Really fucking crazy.
That would be my biggest fear.
So for years I was like, I can manage this with mushrooms. I don't have to go.
I'm sad that you couldn't though. That is what I'm sad about.
Well,
did the pharmaceutical companies win? I am sad.
The thing is like it worked, but like some days I'm just like high on mushrooms like all day. And so Matilda's kind of like, you can't just be like fully high on mushrooms.
No wonder this podcast has been such a success. The success of this podcast comes down to the
they bring so much to me, like truly. And that sounds so LA and so crazy.
It doesn't.
But like I love that drug. And so I was really holding on to like this way of self-medicating that. And I smoked a lot of weed. And I was like, no, like I've been able to manage this. Like I can manage this. And I think like I was so in this, I was by myself. I wasn't in a relationship. So I think I thought I had everything figured out because there was no mirror. Like there was nothing triggering me. There was no like really deep growth happening because I was just kind of like coasting. And then I think when I got back into a relationship and like I started having triggers and stuff like that, like the mushrooms were not helping me with that. And I was also like, Matilda she's really good at like gently reflecting things back and being like, okay, maybe this anxiety like is like, you don't have to deal with that. Like maybe that's not exactly like not normal, but just like, this doesn't have to be this way. And so finally I was like open to it. And like 5 weeks ago, I started taking Lexapro, and it is the absolute best thing I ever have done for myself. I'm sad I can't take mushrooms, but like the trade-off I'm so okay with. And I've noticed like a big difference in our relationship. Like the best way I can explain it is the space between the trigger and the reaction has grown. Like I can be very triggered and be like, oh, that's, I can give myself time before I react, where before it was like reaction and then trigger. So I'm happy. And I'm the perfect girlfriend now.
Now you're perfect.
I literally asked Mitchell that the other day. I was like, aren't I the perfect girlfriend now that I'm on Flexapro?
Cheers to you being the perfect girlfriend.
Wow. Looks like she's got to put a ring on it.
I heard there was going to be a proposal today. That's just why I came. This is why I came to the goddamn podcast. Are you kidding? She totally duped my ass.
We play a game.
Cute.
It's called You Haul or You Ghost. No in between. She's perfect in every way except for maybe just this like one little quirk. She breeds spiders because she had 2 spiders and then they had 52 babies. And now she keeps them all in little individual containers and takes care of these babies. And that's just her life.
You're talking about a real woman.
Yeah.
That might potentially has done. Oh, this is a real person.
Actually, a real person that we know. It's a friend of ours.
No, you're kidding. This is KT in the house?
This is KT.
She has 52 spiders.
You guys.
She's 52
I used to play golf with her. Guys, stop.
Our friend Kendall, who is like famous on TikTok for shooting arrows.
Yeah.
She's really badass.
She's badass.
And she's a spider breeder.
And I didn't know that. That has not been in any of her interviews. Okay, this is what I would do if it was KT. I would take her arrows and I would shoot every single one of those spiders because I actually am terrified of spiders. So this question was very easy. What is it, you haul or what?
You ghost.
You ghost.
Yeah. This one is really divisive because if you are really scared of spiders, which
terrified. Like if I see a daddy long leg, I will run. This is not for the pod. This is not to be funny. Like it's actually terrifying.
All right. What about she always has one earbud in and is listening to something? Maybe not at like dinners, but like around the house. Like
when there's supposed to be quality time, she has like the earbud in. If she's doing business, if this is a business bitch.
No, not a call.
This is not a hot business
This is not a call.
woman.
This is like, no, we are not doing business.
I think
we are like, but maybe we're listening to like a business podcast or like an audio book. I don't know.
Okay. I think I would ghost.
Okay.
Unless she's taking business calls and then that's hot.
Wow.
Yeah.
I feel like the call is worse.
You
like,
think?
get off your fucking phone.
True.
Pay attention to me.
No, that's true. But I guess I would just have to be understanding when and where. Like if it's all the time, I'm annoyed. If they're doing like a deal, where are we going on vacation? No, I'm kidding. That's not even me. I'm totally kidding. But you're right. I think we would have to understand the context.
Yeah.
So can we go like in the middle? Is
No.
it like a middle ground? Mm-mm. I'm just gonna still ghost.
Okay, ghost. Okay, what about they never laughed at your jokes and we don't know why? Maybe they're just really serious. Maybe they're just perfect in every way, but they just don't laugh at your jokes.
No, that honestly is the one thing that I couldn't get past. That's the one thing I couldn't get past.
Yeah, I kind of agree with this one.
You know?
Yeah.
Like, does Matilda laugh at everything you do?
Not at everything, but like, I feel like our sense of humor is very similar. But also, like, if we're in a crowd of people and I tell a fucking joke, laugh at my fucking joke.
Yeah,
like,
yes.
I don't care if you think I'm funny or not.
Yes.
Laugh to just like, hype me up.
Absolutely. And if they're not even laughing to hype you up, like, I want to have that banter. Like, I want that like funny, everything in life should be a joke.
Yeah.
It's like, it can't be this serious, you know? Yeah. Ghost. That's the biggest ghost. Like,
Okay, we are really...
I've ghosted everyone.
ghosting everyone. Thank y'all for listening to today's episode. As always, help us spread the gay agenda by writing an Apple review, rating us on Spotify, and sharing with everyone you've ever met. And if you haven't yet, join our subscription community, Made It In, for exclusive Made It Out media shows, content, and chat rooms at madeitout.supercast.com. Made It Out is produced by Matilda Jordan and worked on solely by lesbians.
Queer hearts swing in sync, building love with every drive, club of sapphic pride.